Piers Morgan appeared on Sunday with Laura Kuenssberg and suggested Sir Keir Starmer is lucky that there's no Prime Minister's questions, PMQs, this week, as trouble is brewing across the Atlantic with President Donald Trump, who is set to touch down in London next week, added that the timing couldn't be worse. The Epstein scandal, the very story he's spent years trying to distance himself from, says his pal Morgan, is continuing to dominate headlines in the UK, after revelations on Labour MP Peter Mandelson's involvement with Epstein have come to light. Morgan shared that the political fiasco is very bad news for Keir Starmer. Kuenssberg seemed taken aback, as she proceeded to ask the former GMB host, "And you know him, you have interviewed him. Is that going to make him cross?" Morgan continued, "Well, the one story everyone's talking about in the UK, just as he arrives, is the Epstein scandal. Imagine a press conference with the two of them, where instead of discussing the great special relationship, the royal family, and his enjoyment of being here, they're bombarded with questions about the Epstein files, which they may well be. Interestingly, I interviewed David Boies last week, who was Virginia Giuffre's lawyer. He's probably the most respected criminal lawyer in modern American history. He's seen everything on the Epstein scandal. He says there's nothing incriminating about Donald Trump. He told me that last week." Morgan added that Boies had claimed there are 10 to 20 other men named who have never been properly investigated in the Epstein case. After seeing the incredibly painful interview with Virginia Giuffre's family earlier in the BBC show segment, he found it astonishing that only Ghislaine Maxwell is being held accountable. Morgan remarked, "How is it that the only person who has ever been properly held accountable for this scandal is a woman, Ghislaine Maxwell? What has happened to all these other men who were clearly involved?" The family of Virginia Giuffre, who became the most prominent victim of Jeffrey Epstein, told the BBC that Lord Mandelson should never have been given the position of UK ambassador to the United States. Virginia's brother Sky Roberts said the appointment speaks to how deep the corruption goes in our systems. Business Secretary Peter Kyle told the BBC it was highly unlikely Lord Mandelson would have been appointed if the extent of his relationship with Epstein was known to those in government. There is no suggestion that Lord Mandelson ever met Giuffre. He said last week that perhaps as a gay man, he never sought or was offered introductions to women from Epstein.